candidate or their agents. So many checks and balances are done to prevent any malpractices. And so far, nobody has shown that using an external thing like mobile phone, etc., it can be tampered because it is hardwired. So that is one criticism. After the election polling is over, that is done properly, but then after polling is over, you are able to do so. So that means you are able to do so for every machine. That is also difficult to do so. So it is stored, only central paramilitary forces are used for carrying it to the place where it is stored till it is counted, and it is sealed also. So all these are very, very difficult, and nobody has proved how to tamper it with a mobile phone or any other electronic device from outside. So all these are just criticisms. So it's just the losing parties always want to blame, right? The first criticism basically came in 2004 from BJP. BJP, one candidate even filed a case in Delhi High Court because they were expected to win after that campaign, Shining India campaign. When they unexpectedly lost the power, they blamed it. That's the first time it was used on an all India basis. All the first election, general election, to be used EVM. Before that, assembly elections and by-elections only it was used. First time all India 2004. So they challenged it, but court rejected it. So there's no proof. Same thing this time also. So why then Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, don't name any names, why he has not challenged it when you won 67 seats? So that is the same EVM. It was the same government. BJP government has already taken over. So it is essentially this thing. But in spite of that, since the question marks have been raised about the validity, as I told you, justice not only has to be done, seems to be done. That is the most important thing. If people, even though it may not be technically possible, but if people started believing that EVMs are tamperable, they will post questions on democracy itself. Democracy cannot survive without a free and fair elections. That's a key factor, is fair elections, whether elections are fair or not. Therefore, Election Commission has to demonstrate on its own. For example, they conducted a hackathon, so nobody was able to prove that. But some people said hackathon itself was an eyewash because only 3 or 4 machines are held, and at the time you can check only one machine. So that should not be there. Allow the people, come, aajao, either 100 machines, all the machines are there, aajao, whatever you want, you try it. Right? So give a free hand to the political parties, allow them, any scientists or anybody, not only political, they call only recognized political parties. No need, call everybody. You may be a scientist, prove that is possible. So then trust, credibility automatically बढ़ जाएगा. Even otherwise, VVPAT आने के बाद the credibility should increase, because as soon as you vote, you can see to which political party you are moving. But the criticism is, once voting is over only, using an outside electronic device, the results are modified. So that will not be satisfactory even when we use VVPAT. VVPAT आप ही देख सकते हैं. Everybody, I cannot see how you voted, or you cannot see how I voted. You know your vote, but that is not the only vote. Thousands of people have voted in that pool, so I cannot find out how many votes have come cast in favor and all that. So that doesn't answer that question. VVPAT doesn't answer that question, that it is manipulated once the election process is over in the evening, or when the machines are taken, put in a single place. So for that, there is a simple thing can be done to overcome it. For example, there is normally around 1000 EVMs are there for one assembly constituency. Randomly one can be chosen, and in that both VVPAT and EVM can be tallied. That should be exactly matched. VVPAT, the slip falls back into the machine. After you see that, it falls back into the machine. That is stored in a separate box inside the machine itself. Then after the voting is over, you press one button, you will get the final detail. किसको कितना वोट मिला, इधर से 1 second में आपको मिल जाएगा. Only one EVM, random in every constituency. You take it and then physically count the VVPAT. That is easier. Then you prove it. If there's a discrepancy, then there is something fishy has taken place. Complete random. One constituency, one one EVM, every assembly constituency. That means validity is there. Nobody can question it. You can't count each and everything. That means you are going back to the previous ballot box era. That will consume enormous amount of time. That will take 3 days, 4 days to count a Lok Sabha constituency with 20 lakh people. Even with machines also, RBI has still not counted how much of money has come back after demonetization. Physically, when you start counting 20 lakh votes in a constituency, there is no end to it. So that is the reason we cannot compare it with smaller countries of Europe which are not using machines, because a smaller thing that can be done manually, and many of these countries are now using online this thing also. India mein we don't have that mechanism to do online with so many poor people, etc. is not possible. So EVMs are the thing, but ensure credibility is there. That is the job of Election Commission to prove that EVMs are beyond any tampering. That's it. हाँ आप बोलिए कुछ बोल रहे थे आप. So कुछ out of box solution हमको देना पड़ेगा. Right बोलिए.
The votes that are cast through VVPAT, they can be tallied.
But not all. That's the point I'm saying. That means we can go back to the ballot box system. You know? So random, only one EVM, everything there. Completely randomized. Right.
Sir, what if someone illegally votes extra votes?
It's not possible in EVM. That's the point I'm saying.
No, after
That is also, for example,
the election is over.
yes, number of people who have voted is tick mark वो physically करते हैं. When you go to vote, हाँ आप आ गया tick mark करते हैं, वो register होगा. That is done in front of the polling agents of all the parties. At 5 o'clock, you know how many people have voted. So you cannot drastically increase 60% to 80% after 5 o'clock. Get that every booth there is a polling agent of every party which is contesting there. So that is not easy to do. Minor thing 1 or 2 that won't materially affect the election results. Right, for that every booth may you have to threaten the people and bribe them. It is not possible to do so. So it is by and large it is difficult. But ensure credibility is not about the process, not about this thing itself, whole the process itself. People have to believe in the process. That is the job of the Election Commission or judiciary. You can't earn it by this thing. You have to earn it by through your conduct. That's how the same thing we are saying it for Election Commission also. Right, then the question about whether it is a money bill. Many bills are now being passed on as a money bill. That is also challenged. Supreme Court has set up a constitutional bench. Jairam Ramesh has challenged it. So, typical polity-based question. So, Aadhaar specifically was passed as a money bill. And now there is also criticism about the recent electoral bonds that are also brought in budget. Right, electoral bond issue. Electoral bond is also a separate question can come. Now even Election Commission has said this is a very bad thing to do. So openly Election Commission has said also that very strong words are also used to criticize electoral bond. That we'll see that why. So money bill, of course, only Speaker has the final power to notify any bill as a money bill. Right, that's what Speaker has done. So therefore the role of Lok Sabha is very limited. So Lok Sabha can only discuss it and give its recommendations but cannot amend it. All the recommendations given by Rajya Sabha have been rejected by Lok Sabha and primacy comes to Lok Sabha. So there are question marks over two things, right? One is Article 110 में बोले हैं first word, the word only was given there. Only what are the things in A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, G, tak hai can be called as a money bill. So that means they say that the word introduction of the word only in the constitution means it is very narrow. That automatically reduces the scope of the speaker. Whereas other people say Article 110G, they saying any matter incidental to other classes. A, B, C, D, E, F, Co, any matter incidental. So that only is overcome by this 110G. 110 is, first letter is that may only is there. But then subclasses are there, A, B, C, D, E, F and all. And the Consolidated Fund of India, all those are there. G says any matter incidental to the other classes. So this is the issue there. But the speaker's powers, here whether they are unlimited, because we know Article 122 clearly says that courts cannot inquire into the proceedings of Parliament on any alleged irregularity of procedure. Like the same way legislature cannot talk about the judges except in the case of removal proceedings. This is clear separation of powers is that Article 122, courts cannot inquire into the proceedings of Parliament regarding any alleged irregularity of procedure. But that means speaker powers cannot be questioned. There is one argument there. Courts have no locus standi to look into the speaker's powers to classify any bill as money bill, because there is a procedure in the Parliament. But Supreme Court in the famous Kyoto-Holohan case 1992 regarding anti-defection law clearly said that speaker here acts as a quasi-judicial body, so therefore he comes under the jurisdiction. Courts can question his decision and nullify because they have been misused. That's a power that otherwise courts would not have come at all. It's just because the misuse by many times by the speakers in the state assemblies. Court said it can be challenged. Speaker's decision can be challenged on malified intentions on the court. Courts definitely has a judicial review powers because he is acting as a tribunal, not as a speaker per se. But in this case may in the same case may Supreme Court said Article 122 protects from irregularity of procedure. That cannot be questioned by courts. Procedure case. But if the infirmity of the speaker is based on violation of constitutional mandate, malified, not compliant with the natural justice, then Supreme Court will use the powers under Article 136. The same argument is valid now also. If it is due to violation of constitutional mandate, malified, not compliant with the natural justice, principles of natural justice, then courts will interfere under Article 136, that is SLP. So courts clearly have distinguished between procedural irregularity and substantive principle. This is substantive principle. So that's on that principle only due, not merely procedure established by law. The American concept of due process of law has come. There's a difference between procedure and substantive principles. So therefore, that is why Supreme Court has accepted this case and referred it to a constitutional. Otherwise they would have said we have no power to do that. Probably due process. They have not used the word due process. Application of substantive principles. That's what then Kyoto-Holohan case mein bole the.
Article
136 SLP. So in this, after referring to the constitutional bench, the two-member bench orally said, orally, but is not a force of law, kuch nahi hai. If the speaker says blue is green, then Supreme Court will not hesitate to correct the speaker. Blue cannot be green. So money bill is, this is not a money bill, but you are saying it is a money bill, so court will step in. So that is why they referred the case to a constitutional bench which has not yet given the judgment. Based on the premise, so now we have to follow again the thing from other countries to prevent the misuse, because that is increasing. Because they want to, because the ruling party does not have the majority in Rajya Sabha. So to bypass Rajya Sabha, it may be done. So that is a fraud on the constitution if that is being done to take away the powers of Rajya Sabha. Right. So therefore in UK it is done. We are taking the concept from UK. So you have to learn from UK what it is done. In UK the speaker's power is final. There of course courts have very less power in UK being a common law system. But there is a procedure to prevent the misuse. There is a committee of two people, two senior members, MPs, one from ruling party and one from the main opposition, who will go through, if the government wants this to be a money bill, they will go through it and give their recommendation to the speaker. Speaker is not bound by the recommendations, but he normally follows the recommendations. So opposition also involved. One member from ruling party, one from the ruling party. Opposition gives the recommendation to the speaker whether that bill is a money bill or not. A similar system has to be introduced in India to prevent the misuse. Okay. The key factor is Rajya Sabha acts as a feedback mechanism that should not be bypassed at any cost. For example, the government does not have a majority in Rajya Sabha, but constitutional bills have been passed like GST, like that Bangladesh ke saath land boundary agreement. Congress opposed GST, but government talked to the opposition. It provides an opportunity to develop a consensus with the opposition parties. So therefore Rajya Sabha's thing cannot be bypassed, should not be bypassed in a democracy. Right. So democracy works on the basis of consensus and not based on majoritarianism. A simple majority in Lok Sabha is not enough. You have to, the whole idea is talk to the opposition because they may be having some valid points. Refer it to the standing committee. Standing committee normally gives some recommendations. Incorporate it if it is good. So nothing wrong about it. So electoral bond, take a strong stand against it. This budget also passed it. So government said it is to bring this part of electoral reforms, reduce the money power in the elections, etc. As you know, crony capitalism is the biggest problem affecting Indian democracy. Yesterday also maine bola tha. So indirectly people say it strengthens crony capitalism and goes against the principles of democracy. What is the electoral bond? Any company now, electoral bonds will be issued by banks, right? So now a company, any company, corporate, LLP, anything, partnerships can buy this electoral bond by using only digital payment, either check or transferring money from their account. So that means the bank will have the knowledge who is buying it. This company has purchased this much worth of electoral bond issued by banks, and they can then fill the name of the party which will be the beneficiary of that, and then post it to the party, post it to the thing, give it to the bank itself, and the party will encash it. The party need not have to know who is the person who has given them the donation.
But
Bank will know. Bank knows who has purchased and to which party they are given.
Then government knows.
See, the government, when they fill it up, it's like a check. You purchase it from them by giving money. You fill the name of the party, send it by you don't fill your name, by courier, you send it to the political party. Political party has to encash it like a check within 3 months. It goes back to the bank again, same bank where you have purchased the bond. So the bank will know which party ko unhone diye hain.
So even the government will.
That is the question mark. So banks, the RBI will know, then the government will know. But no other party will know. So that could be misused. Which party, which corporate is giving how much loan. Second biggest is one is only the ruling party will come to know. Because most of the banks are PSUs. Right? Opposition will have no chance to know about this. The second biggest problem in this is very simple. Previously, under the law, corporates can give donation directly to the political party. It is not banned. Now it comes, but there's a condition. Only if you have made profit in the last 3 years, then only that companies can give donation. Loss making cannot be given previously. And the maximum amount of donation they can give you a political party, 7.5% of the average profits of last 3 years. So the job of the corporate is not to give donation. Their job is to give dividend to their shareholders. Right? That's a simple principle. You don't exist in this policy. That is crony capitalism. You are giving more donation, that means the ruling party will favor you with the policies in budget and all. So that to prevent it, compulsorily profit hona chahiye last 3 years, and maximum is also fixed. Now it removes all that. That means even a loss making corporate body can also give a donation. And they can give any amount also. No maximum amount is not given. So this is dangerous, because now shell companies can give donations also, and nobody will know except the ruling party. Right. Third problem, issue, transparency. Previously, to which political party they are giving, that should be clearly given in the general body meeting to the shareholders. Loss and profit account hoga, ledger book, clearly mentioned where they are given. Now they don't have to mention it. That means even the shareholders will not know, the management, the promoter group which decides all this, even the shareholders will not know किस political party को donation दिए हैं. वो तो आ जाएगा तो public domain में आ जाएगा. So nobody will know except the bank.
But they have to mention the amount.
Amount they have to be mentioned, because they have to be tallied ना. Tallied में वो आना चाहिए, but which political party को दिए हैं, that need not be. Previously they have to give the name of the party also to which they have given donation. Now they won't disclose it even to the shareholders. It goes against corporate governance, norms of corporate governance. Shareholders are the real owners. Why they are denied this the information? And in a democracy works on transparency. Please important. That's what the part of good governance. Now there is a complete secrecy. In a democracy, people have the right to know which corporate has given which donation to which political party. Then only we can prevent crony capitalism. Now this goes against the principles of that. So that is why Election Commission itself is opposing this.
Voluntarily give out the names.
Voluntarily they can give. Why voluntarily? It should be based on law. They won't do that. So the companies work on secrecy. Right? Yesterday that's what Wire has reported. J. Amit Shah has got unsecured loan of 15 crore from a company, but that is not mentioned in the company's report. Right? कहाँ से दिए हैं पता नहीं किसी को. इनका रिकॉर्ड में दिए हैं we got 15 crores from this thing loan. So लोन के लिए सिक्योरिटी भी नहीं दिए हैं, अनसिक्योर्ड लोन दिए हैं, बट उस कंपनी का फाइलिंग्स में that is not mentioned, and that company का shown income of only 7 crores. How come they are given 15 crore loan to another thing? All these things they have to answer, but they won't answer it. That is a different issue, right? So transparency is a key in a democracy, part of good governance. This is completely wheel of secrecy is now put over corporate donations that will increase crony capitalism. So that is why election commission